The man just walked into a coffee shop. He entered and noticed the woman sitting nearby. She was sitting by the window. The man was in a confident state. He looked in a very good mood. He walked over and said hello. The woman looked up at him. She responded in a natural way. They started a simple conversation. The atmosphere was very relaxed. The man spoke with humor. His words were direct. The woman did not resist. She kept listening to him. Their conversation lasted longer. People around them felt invisible. The man felt she was special. The woman also felt he was different. They talked about lifestyle. They also talked about future plans. They even talked about coffee taste. Their choices were very similar. Many of their views matched. This feeling was rare. The woman came from a wealthy family. She was a rich young woman, but she had no interest in most men. She had met many people before. None of them felt like this. This time was completely different. She felt surprised herself. The man stayed relaxed. He continued talking with her. Their connection became more natural. Time passed very fast. The woman received a work call. She was a nurse at a nearby hospital. She needed to return to work early. She had to leave the coffee shop immediately. The man felt a little surprised, but he did not stop her. They walked together to the door. The atmosphere became quiet. They stood at the door looking at each other. Neither of them left right away. There was a sense of reluctance in the air, but they did not know what to say. The woman said goodbye first. The man responded simply. Their first meeting ended. They stood in different directions. Both felt a sense of emptiness. This meeting was sudden. It was also very short, but the feeling was very clear. Neither of them knew if they would meet again, but both of them had not fully let go. This meeting ended like this. After leaving they never met again, but that feeling stayed in their hearts. The woman returned to normal life. The man continued his daily routine. At the same time another world began to change. A man named Bill was the head of a large company. He was about to turn 65. The family was preparing a big birthday event. The elder daughter handled all the planning. The whole family looked very busy, but Bill had been acting strange lately. He kept hearing strange sounds. These sounds made him lose focus. He would suddenly drift off at work. His family thought he was unhappy with the arrangements, but he did not explain much. Until one night at dinner with the family, the sound became clearer. It even told him to go to the study. Bill felt confused, but he still followed the instruction. He walked into the study. At first there was nothing there. The room was quiet and still. Then the voice appeared again. A figure appeared behind the bookshelf. The figure slowly walked out. He told Bill he was Death. He said he had existed for a very long time. He existed before humans appeared. He said he had been observing humans. This time he became interested in Bill. Because Bill had a special life. He wanted to experience human life himself. So he chose to enter reality through a body. Bill was very confused. He could not understand at first, but he soon realized something. He once had a heart attack in his office. He almost died that time, but he survived in a miracle way. That experience was connected to this voice. Death told Bill the truth. Bill should have died at that time, but he was still alive only temporarily. Death offered a deal. Bill would help him experience human life, teach him to understand the human world. In return Bill could extend his life, but he must not tell anyone the truth. Bill had no real choice. He agreed to the deal. After the agreement they left the study. Death entered a human body. He appeared as a young man named Joe. He looked young and unfamiliar. Bill brought him to the family dining room. The family saw him for the first time. They all felt strange about him. Bill introduced the family members. The elder daughter and son-in-law were there. A company partner was also present. This man joined the family dinner. Bill arranged a seat for him, but did not fully explain his identity. The atmosphere at the table felt tense. The company partner became suspicious of Joe. He began questioning Joe's background, but Joe did not give clear answers. Bill also did not explain much. When the tension grew stronger, the woman returned home from work. She was the same woman from the coffee shop. She entered the dining room and saw Joe. They both recognized each other. The woman felt surprised. She asked why he was there. Others also felt confused. Bill did not know how to explain. He only said he was a friend, but the situation became more complex. The woman felt confused inside. She did not understand why he was there. Joe also did not explain much. He just sat quietly. Later Bill called Joe aside. He asked about his relationship with his daughter. Joe said he only met her before through the body. He did not really know her. Bill felt a little relieved, but still stayed alert. At night Joe stayed in the house. He walked around alone. He was curious about human life. He went into the kitchen to observe food. The chef treated him kindly. He tried many different foods. It was his first time tasting human food. He found one type of food very interesting. Then he continued exploring the house. He walked to the pool and met the woman. She was swimming at that time. They met alone again. The atmosphere became more subtle. The woman became more curious about him. Joe was adapting to this world. That night their relationship began to change. The next morning Joe stayed in the house. He had started adapting to human life. Bill took him to the company. It was Joe's first time in a work environment, but his behavior in meetings was strange. Many actions were hard to understand. Company shareholders began to question him. Especially the woman's boyfriend was there. He was very unhappy about Joe's presence. The atmosphere became tense. Bill tried to control the situation. He asked Joe to leave the meeting early, to give him time to adapt. But Joe did not follow instructions. He left the company directly. He went to find the woman. He only wanted to see her again. He arrived at the hospital. The woman was working. She was surprised to see him there. She asked why he came. Joe said he came for her. The woman felt helpless. She said she was busy. At that moment an elderly patient appeared. The patient was very weak. She had a serious illness. She immediately sensed something unusual about Joe. She even knew his real identity. The old woman spoke to Joe. She knew her time was almost over. She wanted to end her pain. Joe told her it was not time yet, but she still insisted. After thinking, Joe chose to help her. He did not take her away. He comforted her in a calm way. He slowly stabilized her emotions. The old woman's pain was reduced. At that moment Joe felt complex emotions for the first time. He began to understand human feelings. That night Joe returned to the table. The family gathered again. Joe sat next to the woman. They talked more and more. Their topics became deeper. They even talked about the hospital. The woman's boyfriend was sitting nearby. He felt ignored. He became emotionally unstable. He showed hostility toward Joe. Finally he could not tolerate it. A violent conflict broke out. The relationship was completely broken. The woman stood on Joe's side. This made the situation worse. The boyfriend left in anger. Joe and the woman became closer. After that the woman began to approach Joe. They talked more in private. Her interest in him grew stronger. But she also felt confused. She did not understand his real identity. Joe also did not explain. Their attraction kept growing, but they never clearly defined the relationship. The woman finally gathered courage. She told her father she had fallen in love. She asked for his advice, but she did not say who it was. Bill did not know she meant Joe. He supported her as a father. He wanted her to pursue happiness, but he still felt uneasy, because he knew Joe's real identity. Meanwhile Joe and the woman continued their relationship. They had a deep conversation in the study. The atmosphere became intimate. Joe said direct things. It created stronger emotions in her. They became closer. The woman finally expressed her feelings. She invited Joe closer. They became physically intimate. The relationship was confirmed. But everything was still hidden in the family. Soon the father discovered their relationship. He became very angry. He could not accept it. He tried to stop the relationship. He believed it would hurt his daughter. But the woman was fully committed. She refused to leave Joe. The father felt powerless. He could only warn Joe again. But Joe did not respond. At the same time Joe realized the problem. He understood the woman's feelings came from the original body, not from him as death. This made him hesitate. He began to understand human love, and think about his own choice. Joe finally made a decision. He stopped insisting on taking the woman. He chose to let her go. He left her in the human world. He prepared to fulfill his agreement with Bill. The story entered its final stage. Bill's birthday event officially began. Everyone gathered together. Bill gave a speech. He reviewed his life. He admitted regret but accepted everything. Finally he danced with his daughter. The emotion between father and daughter was released. The dance was slow and quiet. The atmosphere felt like a farewell. Joe watched everything from the side. He felt the weight of human family for the first time. After the birthday event ended, Bill knew the time had come. He prepared to accept the final moment. Joe also fulfilled his promise. He prepared to take him away. At that moment Joe met the woman for the last time. They met again on a bridge. Their coffee shop fate continued. But this time it felt heavier. Joe chose to tell part of the truth, but not everything. The woman still could not fully understand, but she accepted the relationship. In the end Joe made the final choice. He gave up taking her away. He let her continue living. Bill also reached the final moment of his life. Fireworks lit up the night sky. Everything moved toward the end, but their meeting remained on that bridge.